Hello everyone, so my name is Dave Shepherd. I work for Barclays. I worked for Barclays for 28 years. So I'm going to talk to you about the last 2 years, basically, and some videos, so I'll take a break from my voice, which should be good for you guys. And I've always wanted to do this at a digital marketing conference. I actually, my previous job before looking after Digital Eagles and Eagle Labs was I looked after colleague intranets, SharePoints and stuff. So you guys will probably be aware of SharePoints, and so I could bore you with SharePoints from 2003 to 2007 to 2011 to now 2010 and 2016. Those are the versions, I think. People will correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I'm pretty much there. I've always wanted to kind of do that, do like a presentation on, I'm going to do the whole kind of 13 years of SharePoint in like kind of 3 hours and see how many people are left at the end of it. But thankfully, that's not what I'm going to do. I did say to my little boy a couple of years ago, tried to kind of, pull him away from the Xbox. I'd say, Dad's got a really cool job, but he's like the tongue out on the Xbox, and he would never really quite believe me. But at the end of this, you'll kind of see where we've gone in terms of our progression. And just before I kind of go into this, I just need to just acknowledge the guys that were upstairs from the Eagle Labs. So we've got the beautiful Emma and the lovely Harry. There's Emma. Where's Harry? Is he upstairs? Where is he? There he is. There he is there. And then Nick, who looks after the team. I don't know if Nick's in, but they look after our Bournemouth Eagle Labs. And I just want to say at the start of this whole thing, it's like an open invite to all of you to come to our Bournemouth Eagle Lab. Come and 3D print whatever you want, or laser cut whatever you want, and we'll give you a coffee for free, or whatever. And at this particular moment now, they're all saying, Shepherd, just stop talking now and don't give anything else away for free, but you're all very welcome. Playground, coding for kids and sort of things like that. Basically, it started from, this was what we wrote up on my boss's whiteboard. We wanted to be the most digitally savvy workforce in UK retail. I've got to tell you, this isn't going out live or anything, is it? So my boss is, he's the Strategic Transformation Director for the bank. I remember when he told me that he had got his job, he came out and he goes, I'm going to be the Strategic Transformation Director for Barclays. And I was like, you got to work on that title, because it's the only blue chip that I know that's got an STD as like an executive. But anyway, he liked it, and that's what we did. We wanted to be the most digitally savvy workforce in UK retail. And that actually made born the Digital Eagles. Because what we did, we had 10,000 iPads that we gave out to our staff, and we put Wi-Fi in our branches, and we thought that'd be really cool. Fact was that as soon as the iPads ran out of battery, they were just put behind the counter and not used, and our staff weren't even hooking their phones onto Wi-Fi. And going back about 2.5 years. And we were seeing we had some really cool products out in the market, our mobile banking product, and a thing called Ping It, which is an SMS kind of payment product. And we were finding that we just weren't getting the uptake, because actually our staff weren't digitally savvy. So because colleague intranets and help and stuff, I got this hospital bill. And I remember writing it down in his office on a Friday, and I actually put, we'll be the most digitally savvy workforce in the UK retail bank. Because I thought, I could do that. And this is what good bosses do. He went up and he scrubbed out bank. Because of course that then put us up against everybody. Everybody on the high street, and everybody on the cyber high street, Amazon, Apple, the whole lot. And this is really kind of our I want to show you the strategy. And I'd be really honest with you, and I would encourage you to do this. Whenever you have a strategy day, when you do documents and business cases, I took a photograph of our strategy. That was it. It was that was the whiteboard, and we had 18 people that we began Digital Eagles. They seconded into our team. And we got to a room in London, and that's what we wrote. We thought it had 18 phones. It's a good idea. Those SVGA adapters that you have on the iPads and stuff, so we thought we'd get some of them. Documents and laptops. And as we were kind of leaving and kind of working out, we had just these energetic, passionate 18 members of staff who, like I say, were branch managers, cashiers, seconded into my team, and our directive was really to go around the whole of the UK and help colleagues be digitally savvy. That was our strategy. Now I was 25 years in the bank, and I've had like business cases and strategy documents and everything. That was the best strategy document I think we ever wrote, and it was a learn for us. But I need to show you that our first stand, if you like. That was it. Took a picture of our first stand, so it was like 2 iPads and like the stand. And we thought that was really cool at the time. And I can't tell you how proud, I am when, it was last year when the Digital Eagle adverts were on, seeing actually some of our staff who starred in the adverts on it to see what sort of way we came. But you see, it just boils back to that. Ashok Vaswani, he's our chief executive, still is, thankfully. He's got a passion for people and a passion for digital transformation. And that's his tweet: in a digital world, it's all about people. So those of you that are leaders here and business leaders, you'll know that. You'll know this already. We encapsulated this into a little video that kind of explains much better than I can what our Digital Eagles do. We do this thing called Tea and Teach, where anybody can come into our branches. You don't have to be a customer. Anyone can come into our branches, and you can bring your iPad. You work. There's this thing that's happened. I don't know if you've worked it out, but you know how you get like hand-me-downs? Well, with phones you get hand-me-ups, because the grandkids give the grandparents the iPhone 4 when they get the 5. And so what we had grandparents coming in with a knackered old iPhone 3G, those ones, and go, can you sort of sort this? But they were just so cool because our staff were just doing something completely different and engaging with our customers in a completely different way. And I just want to show you this because it encapsulates it perfectly.
First ever email to my nephew, and I'm looking forward to the response.
We launched a series of workshops in our branches with Age UK, where our Digital Eagles help to give older people the skills to get online. Got an idea? Share it at barclays.co.uk/yourbank.
So we did that about 18 months ago. And then, of course, back to the iPad thing, where the iPads weren't being used. All of a sudden, staff were using the iPads to download content off of Google and to kind of do Tea and Teach sessions between 4 o'clock and 6 o'clock in the evening, keeping the branch open. And it just felt so much better, because those of you that have been into our branches, you'll see that it's going self-service. Everything's going self-service, and it just feels so much better to do something like that than say, you go and pay in over there. That was really our learn. To give you a little bit of background in terms of some of the stats, 4 million customers we've got on our online banking platform. That took us 13 years. Mobile banking, we've got the same, 4 million customers. That took us 18 months. So you can see where it's going. It's quite interesting, just these were stats from about 3 months ago in terms of the demographic in the UK. So 31% are on an Apple device, 57% are Android. And I always love to do like a little kind of show of hands. Can you just put your hand out if you're on iPhone? Yeah, I think the iPhone gets it again because it's our demographic. Although, my daughter, my 21-year-old, the iPhone's like, no. It's a Samsung S6 that she's after. But she's not getting that this side of Christmas, I can assure you that. But then our mobile banking platform, you'll see we've got 63% are on an Apple device, and then 34% are on an Android device. That would be what we would know. That's 57% as the millennials. So going forward, as we launch our mobile banking platform, we're going to launch now firstly on Android and catch those millennials. That's quite interesting in terms of the, our kind of, I guess, let me just flick back to that. So 2014, when we started the Eagles, branch, digital telephony. Just have a look at that top one. 40% would bank just in branch, and then only 2% in digital. After the 2 years, that 40% is down to around about 29%, and then you'll see that exponential rise. This was 3 months ago, 13%. That's gone up to 20% now. So you'll see where that shift is. So what's really interesting for us, I'm going to come on to Eagle Labs in a minute, where we're taking branches and turning them into lab spaces where you can do 3D printing, you can do fast prototyping, laser cutting. So if you're a small, medium enterprise company, in fact, if you're anybody that wants to do some stuff like that, you come into our lab and you can do that. And we're using repurposed branches for that. In fact, Nick and I have just come from Brighton, which is one of our labs over there. And Brighton is on 3 floors. It was an old branch. It opened in 1880. And we shut it down about 2 years ago. We just opened it up as a lab. Downstairs in the safe, in the vaults, in the safes, we've got a film company that wants to use our safes to rent out because of course the acoustics and as a sound stage. So I just think that's brilliant. Something that was built like 120 years ago is being repurposed now for something else. In terms of sort of business case, so 6 million in that channel, 4 million. This is what it did in terms of the Eagles and that switching of channels. So what started on a A1 bit of paper has borne fruit. Have you ever heard of Scratch? Anyone ever heard of Scratch? Yeah. So Scratch is like a jigsaw puzzle kind of version of coding, and if you haven't got it, you can download it. It's a free to download piece of software developed by MIT, I think, and we said to our cashiers and our branch managers, you're going to do some coding. You're going to get, so we've done Tea and Teach, you're going to get some kids in, the famous blue bean bags in branch, you're going to teach kids code. And they were like, oh, can't do that, surely. So that was our first code playground. Literally, that was our first. That was how many people turned up. That was our second. So we had 2 people. One was a daughter and the other one was the dad. But there's something in that. There's something in, getting our, not just our customers, but everybody back into our branch and being that kind of community feel where something happened. Something happened over the last 18 months where, well, this is what happened with our code playgrounds. It just mushroomed. So we went from, if I had tweeted about Barclays, out of my own account about Barclays 18 months ago, I'd have probably been up on a disciplinary. But we use Twitter as our main booking system for Code Playground. In fact, when it's booked, then and it's fully booked, we'll talk through Twitter. In fact, on the Twitter stuff, we're at Eagle Labs, Eagle_Labs, and Digital Eagles, and give us a follow because some of this stuff's really cool. And where it takes you is amazing. That's just a little mosaic of where we ended up. Last year, we ended up at 10 Downing Street teaching Cameron code, which was really weird because, you kind of think, I don't know if, actually, no, that was just before the election. And you just wondered whether he was doing that in case he was out of a job anytime soon. But as it transpired, he was all right. But I want to read you this. I've got enough time. I said I'd looked after intranets, and this will be kind of close to your hearts, and internets. You see, this isn't a gimmick. It was something that started with staff needing to get themselves digitally savvy. The bank do something which is a picture debit card. I don't know whether you've done it, but if you bank with Barclays, you can go in and do a picture debit card. Weirdly, we took an awful lot of kind of negative press on that, and it was a bit gimmicky. Strange. And then Digital Eagles a bit gimmicky, you're kind of preying on the elderly and sort of stuff like that. Just wasn't the case at all. But of course, the backdrop to that is the bank was coming out of some real tough years, LIBOR and PPI, if we go back kind of 3 years ago. So I want to read this to you in terms of where it all began. I wouldn't sort of normally do this, but in terms of this audience, I really think it's appropriate. It's difficult to read, but it just shows you, I guess, the emotional connection that you get when you really kind of cut through this stuff. Look after internet, so there's a little page that's very close to my heart, very messy, not very interactive, usual stuff. But what we did about 2.5 years ago, we said to our staff, you can use my site. You familiar with my site? It's a little bit like an internal Facebook. So use it to start telling us about what you're doing every day with customers. And we had a bit of pushback internally about that because our information risk management people would say, well, you can't do that because there'll be queues out the door and people will be on like Facebook like all the time. And you're like, no, that's not the case. Because what would happen was that staff were using it as an information tool. I've got to read you this. So Rhiannon Griffiths is a community banker, a personal banker in our Swansea office. When the personalised debit cards first came out, I didn't realise how important they would become to our customers until I had a very moving experience today. A very nervous customer referred to me from Lorraine on the counter. The customer came in to sit with me and explained she wanted a picture put on her debit card. I was more than happy to help. She had her laptop with her, so proceeded to go online to use our free Wi-Fi service. So I'm reading this and I'm thinking, good on you, Rhiannon. You plug in the free Wi-Fi. That's perfect. To upload a free photo of her choice in her albums. As she was doing this, she told me a little bit about herself. She had recently beat cancer and also had suffered a heart attack. She lost her twin sister last year and explained that this was all a little bit too much and resulted in her having an emotional breakdown. We located the photo of her grandson. And I explained that he was a handsome young boy and asked how old he was. She told me then in that picture, he would have been 2.5. So I replied, well, he must be much bigger now. And to my sorrow, she explained, yes, he would have been, but he passed away 3 years ago from infant cot death. And this is why she wanted his photo on her debit card. He was her two blue eyes. She wanted him to be with her wherever she was. The woman was so pleased that we offered this service and said that by just putting a photo on her debit card made her so happy. It's brought a tear to my eye and a lump to my throat. Once we had finished, she hugged me tightly and said, thank you so much for making my week. What a fantastically strong woman to have gone through so much and still be standing. So, web trends. Talked quick about web trends earlier on. We picked that up through our Google web trends. That hashtag just went mental because people started using it and then people started tweeting it and internally. And still to this day, this was 2 years ago, that's still the highest trending hashtag on our My Site. That's like something else. So we knew that we were onto something that in this digital stuff, if you engage your colleagues in a way that the bank has never done before, you're onto something really powerful. So T and Teach, we're going to finish off with this kind of little video that we've got to play because we're here at Southampton Football Club, because it features the legend of Southampton Football Club. I'm sure there's many legends, but this one would be a particular legend of mine. Have you ever heard of walking football? Oh, okay, cool. Because I'll do this like presentations, and my ratio is not too bad now. I'm sort of 50-50. Because I'll go, have you heard of walking football? And people go, no, don't know what you're talking about. But so Steve Rich came into our branch, South London, and said, look, I do walking football, I'd like to set up a website. So our Digital Eagle, and our Digital Eagle started putting a website on Facebook and sorted it all out. So then our marketing guys got hold of it, right? And it was just like gold for them. It started as just Steve coming in, help me out with a website. We did it, there it is on Facebook. And it turned into this.
I don't think I actually want to go to sleep tonight, because I might get to bed and somebody's going to pinch me and say, you actually dreamt all that.
So we've found a strange alliance in terms of community outreach with football clubs. So we've got a walking football team that AFC Bournemouth do. There's one now at Brighton and Hove Albion. So the challenge is set. I don't know if there's anybody here from Southampton Football Club, but the challenge is set. So we're happy to bring our walking football team to you guys and give it some. And then just lastly, the labs. The first picture you're seeing there is Brighton as it was, but as it is now. What you're seeing in the middle is the transformation. Basically, it was an old corporate office, like every corporate office up and down the land. And you'll see this kind of a mock-up of the transformation. In fact, it looks not far off what it does. There's Prince Andrew. He opened the Cambridge lab. And there's Eddie Howe, who opened the Bournemouth lab. And the guy behind Eddie is our business lead for that region, Craig Jameson. And like I say, where we find our world, it started in the virtual world. It started in how do you get digital, how do you get digitally savvy, and then weirdly it's come back into that physical world again. How, you know, I'm sure some of you would have done some 3D printing stuff upstairs. You come to the lab, we'll take a 3D scan of you, and you can 3D print yourself. That's like really cool. Not like, obviously, not life size, just like a little thing. And then I was speaking to a lady today in Brighton, where we're taking some of the 3D printers to Glastonbury, because of course 3D printing it's additive, so you don't actually take anything away. You think about everything you make is about taking things away. 3D printing is additive, and it's obviously recyclable. Barclays going to somewhere like Glastonbury, just unheard of. I'm going to just do one last thing for you. I'm going to do like story time with Dave, because this is digital marketing. There's a little, I'm going to read you a poem, and then we're going to finish and we're done. And it's kind of, it's the title of what we kind of talked about, and the rest of the world zag, just doing something completely different. We've got 16,000 digital eagles by basically doing something completely different. And I want to read this to you. It's very marketing. I nicked it. I didn't write it, I'm afraid. I nicked it from a company called BBH, who you may know, Bartle, Boothall and Hegarty in London. It's in their foyer. I took a photograph of it, and I want to read it to you. Because if ever you're looking to make any change in your organisation, and I guess that's the reason you're here, this is really cool, actually. So it goes like this. I read this to my kids at night, which is weird, because my eldest is 21, but I'm going to read it to you. So, does it zag? Is it original? Is it true? Does it stand out like the dog's proverbials? Will it start a conversation, a trend, a movement? Is it solid logic or inspired magic? Is it news big enough for people to dig, download, bookmark or even like? Will people share it? Would you? Has it made the leap from good to great? Are you excited by it? Does it feel fresh, rare, bloody? Does it kick status quo in the ass, hoof convention in the nads, pout ordinary, shapely in both eyes? Is it simple? Can you tweet it? Will it play better as a game, make things happen as an app? Could it ring true on mobile, shine on radio, zing as a jingle, stand out in 3D? Is it funny? LOL or a full LMFAO? Would a director kill to shoot it, a customer kill to have it? Could it surprise more as an animation, shot on camera phone starring glove puppets drawn by kids? Will it make people laugh, cry, gasp, buy? Could it be better? What if it was shorter or longer? What if you dropped a headline, cut the visual? What if you swapped them around? Is the logo too big, too small? Will it make the brand famous or only you? Is it designed to dominate an awards book or popular culture? Does it honour the brand? Is it pure scam? Is the real? How do you feel? Could music make it better? Could silence? Would it work in 90 seconds, 10 or 2? I love this bit. Could it go viral? What exactly is viral anyway? We struggled with that for months. You can't make something go viral. It just happens. Reference my previous. Does it say anything new? Is it honest? Is it honestly as good as it gets? Is it credible? Is it incredible? Have you let someone rip it apart? Have you put in the graft, finesse the craft? Does it travel across boundaries, countries, languages and cultures? Can it live, breathe and kick ass in every channel? Does it integrate? Is it a little scary? Will it make people say, shoot, I wish I'd done that? Does it have a difference? Does it make a difference? Do you make a difference? When the rest of the world zigs, does it zag? So, 28 years in the bank, I've got a team, privileged to have a team that is zagging pretty much every day. I've introduced them to you, and I'd love for you guys to come down to Bournemouth or Brighton, it's sort of equidistance from here, to see what we do so that we can talk to you a little bit more about it. Thanks very much.